People love to lecture you about what's impossible. They'll look you dead in the eye and say once a woman leaves, she's gone for good. That you should just accept it, focus on yourself, pretend you're at peace, and quietly bleed on the inside. But here's the part they never tell you, because most men have never seen it happen. I've watched women who vanished without a goodbye, women who blocked every account, ran to a new guy, and swore they'd never speak to their ex again, come crawling back months later with shaking voices and tearful apologies. It doesn't just happen. It happens often. But before you jump to conclusions, let me make something clear. This isn't some fairy tale. This isn't manifesting, begging, or romantic delusion. What I'm about to show you is psychology. Raw, predictable human behavior, playing out the same way again and again. And once you understand it, the game changes, because the truth is brutal. She didn't leave because another man was better. She left because somewhere along the way, you stopped being the man she believed you were. You stopped leading. You lost your center. And when a man collapses emotionally, a woman rewires her entire story to justify leaving. It feels sudden to you, but inside her mind, that switch flipped long before you saw it. But here's where everything turns. That same psychology that pushed her away is the exact psychology that pulls her back, if you know how to flip the dynamic. And that's where the real story begins. If you're still here after that intro, good. Because now we get into the part most men never want to face. The truth doesn't come wrapped in comfort. It comes wrapped in clarity. And clarity is the one thing you've been missing since she walked away. You probably spent weeks replaying every moment, every argument, every look on her face, as if some scene in the past could explain the pain in the present. But the real reason she left isn't hidden in those memories. It's hidden in who you slowly became without even noticing. She didn't walk out because some new guy magically appeared and swept her away. That man didn't replace you. He exposed you. He revealed the version of yourself you drifted into, the version you thought she would tolerate because you loved her. Somewhere along the way, without meaning to, you handed over the frame of the relationship. You stopped being the one who set the emotional tone. You became the one reacting to it. Instead of being rooted, you became responsive. Instead of being centered, you became shaken. And women feel that shift long before they can explain it. What happens next is subtle, almost invisible. She doesn't announce it. She doesn't warn you. But something inside her disconnects, a quiet emotional detachment. One morning she looks at you, and the feeling isn't there. The respect isn't there. The spark that once ignited, that everything is suddenly flat. And because she doesn't want to hurt you or admit what she's already decided, you get excuses. I'm stressed. I need space. I'm confused. But the truth is much simpler. Emotionally, she had already left. And here's the part that stings the most. When you finally confronted her, when you reacted with anger or panic, when you wrote those long emotional messages trying to remind her of your history, you didn't win her back. You confirmed her fears. You showed her the version of you she no longer trusted to lead anything, let alone a relationship. You thought you were fighting for her. All she saw was a man fighting his own desperation. That's why understanding this shift matters. Because once you recognize the real mechanism behind her decision, you stop blaming the new guy. You stop blaming yourself for the wrong things. You stop chasing a moment that no longer exists. And for the first time since the breakup, you can actually begin the process that turns everything around. Now that you understand why she drifted away, you need to understand what happens next. Because this is where men either regain their power or lose it forever. After a woman emotionally disconnects, most guys react in the exact way that guarantees she never looks back. They panic. They chase. They try to reason with her heart while losing control of their own. And every desperate move they make only tightens the loop she's already trapped in. This is the part that shocks most men. She doesn't leave because you weren't enough. She leaves because she no longer feels the version of you that once led the relationship. Not losing her made you collapse. Losing yourself did. And when you collapsed, something predictable happens. She begins building a psychological case against you. Not out of cruelty, but out of self-protection. She has to justify her exit. So, she rewrites the story. Not I disconnected, but you were controlling. Not I changed, but you never listened. And not I cheated emotionally first, but you pushed me away. It feels manipulative, but it's really self-defense. It's how she avoids feeling guilty. Here's the twist most men never see coming. The moment you explode with anger, or beg, or send emotional paragraphs trying to remind her of the good times, she doesn't see love. She sees proof. Proof that the man she left is weaker than the one she met. Proof that she made the right choice. Proof that the story she rewrote is now real. This is where the acid loop tightens. You feel panic rising. She feels relief. You push harder. She pulls further. You try to regain her. She tries to escape you. Not because she doesn't care anymore, but because your reaction confirms the version of you she no longer respects. But here's where everything flips. The same loop that pushed her away can pull her back. Not through more emotion, through absence, not through pressure, through contrast. Not through explaining yourself, through recreating the one thing she no longer associates with you. Masculine authority. When a man disappears with dignity instead of desperation, he shatters her expectations. She anticipates chaos. She anticipates pursuit. She anticipates emotional collapse. But instead, she gets silence, calm, distance. And that silence creates psychological friction she can't resolve. The unfinished story begins to itch. The new guy stops feeling magical. Nostalgia starts rewriting itself in your favor. Most men think the breakup is the end. It's not. It's the reset button. But only if you know how to use it. Silence isn't running away. It's not quitting. It's the first strategic move in taking back the frame she stopped feeling. And this is where the shift becomes real. Because when a man goes quiet for the right reasons, everything she thought she understood about you begins to break apart. You're no longer feeding the story she created to justify leaving. You're no longer playing the role she assigned you. Instead of the frantic, predictable version she expected, she faces something she can't categorize: your absence. This is where anticipation builds. She tells herself you'll text soon, you'll reach out, you'll check her stories, you'll do something to confirm she still has access to you. But when none of that happens, the loop opens again. This time for her, not for you. The more secure she felt after leaving, the more uneasy she becomes now. It's not regret yet, but it's friction, a discomfort she can't name. And when her new reality starts cracking, the rebound guy losing his shine, the excitement wearing off, the fantasy failing to match real life, that discomfort grows louder. Not because the new guy is terrible, but because he's not you. Not because you were perfect, but because he lacks the depth, familiarity, and emotional history she once took for granted. This is the twist. She doesn't miss you because you chased her. She misses you Because you stopped acting like a man trying to prove something. You acted like a man who remembered who he was. Not pressure, but presence. Not arguments, but absence. Not emotional flooding, but emotional sovereignty. Silence becomes contrast. Contrast becomes curiosity. Curiosity becomes nostalgia. And nostalgia is the doorway back into her mind. Around this time, she'll test the waters. A like on an old photo. Watching your story. A wrong person text. A casual, "Hey, how have you been?" None of these are accidents. They're probes. She's not checking on you. She's checking your emotional temperature. She wants to know if you're still the same man she left, or if you've become the man she can't predict anymore. And here's the beauty of it. The less you react, the more she spirals. The less you chase, the more she questions. The less you reveal, the more she feels. Disappearance, when done with purpose, doesn't disconnect you from her. It pulls her back into the story, one she thought she ended, but can't stop reopening. The moment she reaches out, everything inside you will want to explode. Answer fast, show excitement, rush into the outcome you've imagined 1,000 times. But this is the exact moment where men lose everything they've rebuilt. Because when she comes back, she isn't returning to you. She's returning to the mystery you created. And the only way to keep that power is to respond from strength, not hunger. Her message isn't the finish line. It's the beginning of the power shift. She wants relief from her uncertainty. She wants confirmation she still matters. She wants proof the door hasn't fully closed. But you're not here to offer reassurance. Not now. Not yet. Not anymore. The man she left would rush toward her. The man you are now moves slowly, intentionally, calmly. This is where anticipation works in your favor. She sends a text expecting the old pattern. You delay. She tests again, softly, casually. You stay centered, not cold, not rude, just unavailable in a way she has never experienced from you. And with every hour you don't respond, the loop tightens around her, not you. The script reverses. The emotions reverse. The pressure reverses. Not eagerness, but equilibrium. Not chasing, but choosing. Not instant access, but measured presence. When you finally answer, your tone matters more than the words. Short, clear, warm, but not invested. You're not punishing her. You're showing her the version of yourself she hoped would exist, but never got to meet. A man who's stable, whole, and no longer dependent on her validation. And when she asks to meet, because eventually she will, the dynamic shifts again. You don't jump at the opportunity. You set a time later in the week. You keep the energy grounded. You make it clear through your behavior, not your words, that you're not trying to get her back. You're evaluating whether she fits into the new life you've built. This is the twist she never expects. After all the chaos, she's the one who must prove something now, not you. She has to show growth. She has to show clarity. She has to show effort. Because you are no longer the man fighting to keep her. You are the man deciding whether she deserves a place in your world again. And that subtle reversal is what reignites her respect, her attraction, and her emotional investment. Far stronger than before. When you finally sit across from her again, something feels different immediately. Not because she looks different, but because you do. You're not sitting there with the energy of a man trying to win her back. You're sitting there like a man evaluating reality. Calm, grounded, present. and that alone rattles her more than any speech you could prepare. She came expecting a version of you she could predict, a version that would smile too wide, talk too fast, or rush into emotional territory because he missed her. But instead, she gets a man who's steady, who listens more than he speaks, who isn't trying to impress her, but isn't trying to punish her either. That neutrality hits her harder than anger ever could. It tells her one thing: you're no longer attached to the outcome. And when a man is detached, a woman starts leaning in. She'll mention the past, expecting you to reopen old wounds. You won't. She'll bring up the breakup, expecting you to defend yourself. You won't. She'll search your face for signs of resentment or longing. She won't find either. What she finds is unsettling in the best way. A man who has changed without needing her as the reason. Not hostility, but composure. Not cold distance, but warm independence. Not a boy seeking closure, but a man choosing clarity. And just like that, the power dynamic resets. The very thing that once pushed her away, your emotional imbalance, is now the thing she feels within herself. She becomes the one afraid to lose you. She becomes the one wondering where she stands. She becomes the one hoping you'll decide in her favor. This is where acid loops kick in again. The anticipation she once felt when you chased her is now the anticipation she feels when you don't. The conflict she avoided during the breakup becomes the conflict she carries now. The intrigue she looked for in someone else is now what she sees in you. And the direction of the connection is no longer hers to steer. The irony? She hasn't really changed. You did. And by changing yourself, you changed the way she sees everything. Her memories, her choices, the breakup, the new guy, all of it. You didn't manipulate her. You disrupted the emotional narrative she built to leave you. And that disruption is exactly what makes her want back in. The moment she realizes you're not the man she left, something powerful starts unfolding beneath the surface. She won't say it. She won't show it. But internally, she's running through scenarios, replaying conversations, comparing timelines, questioning her own decisions. The same mental maze you wandered through after the breakup? Now she's inside it. Only this time, you're not chasing her through the maze. She's chasing your silence inside it. This is where most men misunderstand the process. They think her first apology or first emotional moment means the work is done. But it's not. It's just the beginning of a deeper shift. What you're seeing is only the surface ripple of a much bigger emotional current underneath. You're not just rebuilding attraction, you're reprogramming her perception of who you are. And the twist is devastatingly simple. She's not coming back because she feels sorry. She's coming back because she feels drawn, not by nostalgia, but by curiosity. Not by guilt, but by admiration. Not by fear of being alone, but by fear of losing the man she now sees in front of her. Women don't return to the past. They return to a future they can imagine with you again. That's why neutrality is your greatest weapon. Your silence spoke louder than any argument. Your steady energy dismantled the narrative she used to justify leaving. Your transformation made her second-guess the fantasy she built around the new guy. You didn't fight her. You forced her to confront herself. And this is where the acid loop reactivates in your favor. She feels anticipation because she no longer knows where she stands. She feels conflict because part of her wants to apologize, and another part fears rejection. She feels intrigue because you're not predictable anymore, and she feels direction pulling her toward you, even when her pride tells her to play it cool. Not because you demanded respect, but because you embodied it. Not because you begged for another chance, but because you showed you didn't need one. Not because you promised to change, but because you changed without making promises. This is the psychological pivot men dream of, but rarely reach. Because now, for the first time since the breakup, she sees you again. Not the man you were, the man she didn't believe you could become. And that realization is what makes her truly afraid of losing you this time. By the time she gathers enough courage to tell you she wants to talk, the shift is already complete. She is no longer evaluating whether you are enough for her life. She is evaluating whether she still fits into yours. And that reversal, quiet, subtle, undeniable, is the moment where everything that once broke you now bends in your favor. But this is also where most men crumble, because they confuse her return with victory. It's not victory yet. It's leverage. When she sits down and starts opening up, pay attention. She's not just talking about the past. She's trying to rewrite her place in your future. She'll admit things she once hid. She'll say she was confused. She'll acknowledge mistakes she never planned to admit. Not because you demanded it, but because your transformation forced her to confront herself. She's not searching for closure. She's searching for permission. And here comes the twist. She doesn't want the man she left. She wants the man who survived losing her. Not the man who collapsed, but the man who rebuilt. Not the man who begged, but the man who breathed. Not the version she grew numb to, but the version she didn't expect to reappear. This is where anticipation surges inside her again. She wonders what you'll say. She wonders if you'll accept her. She wonders if you've already moved on. That uncertainty creates conflict in her chest. Fear, hope, desire, doubt. Everything you felt months ago is now pulsing inside her. And the more centered you remain, the deeper that emotional loop pulls her in. So how do you respond? Not with eagerness, not with bitterness, with discernment. You're not here to punish her, but you're not here to reward her either. You're here to see reality clearly. You're here to decide if the woman sitting across from you is someone who can grow with the man you've become. Your energy is your message. Calm, grounded, present. You're not promising anything. You're allowing possibilities. You're showing her that reconciliation isn't automatic. It's earned. She left because you lost yourself. She returns because you found yourself again. But whether she stays, that depends on the man you choose to be now. And for the first time, she knows it's not her choice anymore. It's yours. If you've made it this far, here's the truth most men never reach. Getting her back was never the real win. The real win was becoming the man who doesn't collapse when someone walks away. The man who doesn't need validation to stay centered. The man who moves with purpose, not panic. That man is rare. That man is magnetic. That man is remembered, even by the woman who once believed she could replace him. And this is where the final loop closes. You're no longer reacting to her choices. You're shaping your own. She may want a second chance, but now the question shifts. Do you want her back in the world you rebuilt? Not out of loneliness, but out of alignment. Not because you miss the past, but because you see a possible future. Not as a reflex, but as a decision. Most men rush into reconciliation the moment they see a tear, an apology, or a hint of vulnerability. But you're no longer most men. You understand that taking her back without boundaries only guarantees a repeat of the same cycle. And you didn't fight through the pain, rebuild your identity, and reclaim your purpose just to return to the version of yourself that lost her in the first place. This is the twist the original version of you never saw. She doesn't stay because you fight for her. She stays because you're no longer fighting yourself. She stays because you carry a presence she respects. She stays because you make decisions from strength, not fear. Not desperation, but discipline. Not chasing, but choosing. Not emotional volatility, but emotional sovereignty. And here's the part that matters more than anything. Even if she never returned, you still would have won. Because the breakup didn't destroy you. It exposed you. It revealed the parts you ignored, the habits you neglected, the purpose you abandoned. It forced you to evolve into someone who can handle loss without losing himself. That version of you doesn't just get women back. He commands respect in every area of his life. So yes, if you choose her again, it will be on your terms. With new boundaries, with real standards, with a frame built from experience instead of fear. And if you don't choose her, then she was simply the lesson that shaped the man you were meant to become. Either way, you don't just reclaim the relationship, you reclaim yourself. And that's the real ending to this story.